The topic today is leading change and raising standards. Just to set the scene, I just wanted to pose a few questions about this as of my own. As to my mind, there's a slight contradiction or a tension in this subject. Because the idea of standards, as we've been hearing a lot about the last couple of days, the idea of standards we usually take to mean, when you talk about standards, what are the standards in your school? I imagine most of you in my experience of teachers say, well, immediately, we get so many A to C O-level grades, or we get so many A to C A-level grades, or we've had this many students do this wonderful thing or that wonderful thing. Now, to me, that's not what we're here to talk about. I think we've heard a lot about how the curriculum and how the O and A-level syllabi can really constrict thinking and constrict standards. So when you're thinking about standards, try and think of it in the sort of more idealistic way. Think, what do you really want? Think about what your ideal school would be. Think what you would want for your own children. Think what you would want for yourself when you're learning. Those are the sort of standards we're talking about. What would you know? What would you really want? What would really make the school transformative, have a chance to touch and inspire the children who come through your class? I think, so try and get beyond thinking about just how can we improve the grades, because we really want to think about your role of inspirers and leaders as teachers, rather than as I mentioned on the stage, as just robots delivering a set curriculum, which I think is a bit frustrating for teachers, but I will leave my rants for another time. The other point about leading change then links to that, I think. If we start thinking about standards in this more progressive way, then we can think, well, how can we really change the school system to meet these standards? So that's in a way that's how I'm thinking about these concepts. Again, if you think that I'm going off on a tangent to nowhere and you want to look at standards in a different way, then please feel free to do so. But I think that's for me what's at the heart of what we're talking about here. So I think that's about all I want to say, unless there are any questions before we get going. No, everyone seems to make sense to everyone. Okay, great. Well, if anyone's got any questions throughout the session, please do just let me know. And I'll be drifting amongst the groups and just listening and raising a question every now and again. But really, as I say, it's a session for you more than for me. So the first question is, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? What standards do we want to raise? What change do we want to implement? How can we implement that change? How can we be leaders of that change? What do we want to do? So that's as I say, that's it from me. I think we'll say we've got, let me see, the time now is 12:10, and we've got all to be done for lunch at 1:30. So you have about 20 minutes for this topic, so until about 12:30. If everyone could just begin to wrap up their initial conversation. Excellent, okay. Had a chance to listen to a couple of groups and a lot of very interesting ideas and some strong parallels as well. But I'd just like, before we move on to the next question, if each group could just raise just a couple of points from what you discussed and share with the rest of the group here. Are there any volunteers to get us going? Any volunteers to get us going? Any volunteers? Ah, excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Do I need to stand?
Yeah, why not stand up? Stand up. Yeah. Yeah. To the front of the classroom. Yeah. Yeah, do we have any more? Yeah, I'm afraid we don't seem to have enough of those pens. Let me just see. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, please.
Excuse me, all of you have marked attendance because one person is late.
One person there? Yeah. Okay. Everyone could be quiet and listen to the...
Okay, I know. Okay, this is ours, Group A. Okay, I'm Farhana Mahmood. What we have discussed is, and quickly going to go through it, we idealistically want a lot of freedom to learn, to choose, and then to assess. Okay? We want differentiation within the classrooms. and we all agree on that. We want the stakeholders to be on board to carry all these out. We want the teachers on board, we want the parents on board, we want the children on board. Okay? We want to review the planning process, the evaluation system. We want less paperwork and more efficient teaching within the classrooms. Okay? We think that teachers at the moment, practically speaking, are overburdened by the paperwork that's going on within the schools. Okay? We would like to cultivate free thinkers. Okay? And to cultivate free thinkers, we have to give freedom not only to the heads, to the teachers, and to the students. Plus, we have to take on board the parents who are always nagging us. Okay? And then we have to raise the standards of recruitment of teachers. This is very important. We cannot move on with this process of change, which in itself is a slow process, until and unless we have got a good quality of teaching staff with us whom can be trained and who have a passion. We are paying them less, quite honestly, more so at the primary level. This is what we agreed to. At a lower level, till class 6, 7, 8, we don't pay them that much, so they come, we train, and they go away. At O levels, again, the salary packages are not that good. At A levels, we are fortunate enough that we give them what they ask for. And then again, the level of commitment is missing, quite honestly, even though we are paying them much. Those of you who are primary teachers should know that since we three here have an experience of dealing with O and A levels, that the money factor, the monetary thing, does not raise the level of commitment. Okay? It just doesn't. Again, Mustafa Sahab, what I would say is that even in one particular campus, if you're talking about Liberty campus, if you have about 20 teachers on board, all 20 of them will be getting a different salary package. Even that varies. So we cannot actually, it's not a tangible thing that you can touch on and say that this is what is going to work. What I'm trying to say is that right from the beginning till the end, and this is what I've observed personally myself, and please look around, you'll see it, that salary package does not have that much to do with the level of professional asset. Okay? So what we need to do is to incite that passion or take on board those teachers who really want to teach. Fine? That is how it works. And then it trickles down from the top management as well.
I'm Rifat Arif and I'm an A-level head. I'm running BMI A, which is the largest A-level program in Pakistan. Let me boast about my school. Okay. But the thing is that over there all the teachers are contractual teachers and they are very, very well paid, believe me. But the level of motivation has nothing to do with as compared to Master Ayub. So I think the debate, hold on. So what my point is that, the change has nothing to do with this debate of money. Because if money can bring change, then,
All right, good afternoon everybody. I'm Fawzia Munir and I'm here to answer the question that why do we want to bring this change. The thing that we've very smartly done is that whatever we wanted to do, we just wrote down the reasons behind it. We didn't make a new one. So that is why we voluntarily said this, that we want to, present this one. So the first one was that we need to change the educational objective. And why do we need to change this educational objective? Because we've become more materialistic. The teachers, if we look into the reason that why do we join this profession, most of the times it happens that the teacher join it either for a time pass or because they don't see any other profession and they see that, all right, why not to be a teacher in a school most of the time. And if you look at when we were talking about A-levels for a better earning, so once we are not committed or once we do not value the value of this profession, so that is why we are declining or we are going towards the bottom now. So we need why we need, because we have become materialistic being teachers and also being students. If we look into it, this is that because we do not take learning as learning nowadays. Students learn because they have to learn. They don't know that why they have to learn. They have to learn to become a better human being. They have to learn to live a better life, to why human beings are being created. They do not know the meaning. We have forgotten the meaning of the creation of a human being. So that is why first, if we would understand these things and then we would know and the answers and with the solution of the problems. So the second point was the better psychological understanding, because we want a better psychological understanding of the teachers should understand the students, and because this is a very complex society. The society is no more a simple society. We are in a world where the world has become a global village, where there are a lot of things. Every other day there are new inventions, there are new discoveries. As we talk about diversity, there are new ways of technology. So when these all things are around us, we hardly get time. There are a lot of things that I don't know about them. We don't know about whatever is just existed in whatever is there in the world. So the society has become quite complex. So that is why we need to change ourselves. We need to learn more. We need to have a better understanding whatever is going on in the society. The third one was that the social we need to change the mindset. Why do we need to change the mindset? And for that, a lot of social interaction is needed, because we need to change the mindset. Because once, as it was by Ms. Akil in the first, the plenary session as well, that once we have learned the things, so we do not want to unlearn them now. Either they are beneficial for us or they are harmful for us. So we need to look into this as well, that now the things that are not working for us, which we need to unlearn them, we need to relearn them, we have to find out new ways. So that is why we need to change these things. And we want project-based learning. So why do we want project-based learning? Because mostly what happens that as we look into our curriculum, or we look into the scheme of work, so whatever topics we are teaching it to our students are mostly, we just take 2 days or more if we talk about like in length, so it goes on for a week and then it ends and then it's nowhere during the whole session. So the project-based learning, when the project-based learning would be there would be a better understanding of the concepts, and also that when we prolong one thing, we can learn about it into detail, and then there are a lot of teaching strategies that we can adopt, and a lot of other things like the students can individually do these things, the students can do it in pairs or groups and all that. So they can have a field trips as well. We can incorporate a lot of technology into it as well. So for that project based learning, we need to change ourselves, to change our mindsets, and also to learn a lot of new things. The other thing was that. Yes, why not?
Going to be a bit cheeky on my part, but I think because I've got 2 boys as well in the primary section, I would like to change this concept of project-based learning as it is known as today. The same way as democracy is known in Pakistan, it's not the same democracy that we talk about. Same in the project-based learning is not the same thing. I hope it's the other kind of project-based learning that we're talking about, which actually does make a difference.
Not that project-based learning that
Exactly. So it's that same kind of, project-based learning which is done on papers.
we need to learn what project-based learning is.
Exactly. So